We've counted down our top 10 greatest players of all time and broken down the list by position, but now it's time to break it down by decade. Here are our top 10 greatest players of the 2000s. Number 10, Dwyane Wade. Wade entered the league a few years into the 2000s, but definitely left his mark on the decade. After being named to the All-Rookie First Team in 2004, he went on to make the All-Star team every season for the rest of the decade and won an NBA championship in just his third season. He won the NBA scoring title in 2009 when he averaged over 30 points per game, along with 5 rebounds, 7.5 assists, 2.2 steals, and 1.3 blocks per game. Number 9, Allen Iverson. For a player whose nickname is The Answer, there are so many questions about his career. There's no doubt that Iverson was a lethal scorer, but in today's world of advanced stats and analytics, his place among the greats is in a constant state of flux. Yes, Iverson was not an efficient scorer by any means, but look at what he accomplished. He was an All-Star all through the 2000s and won All-Star Game MVP twice, along with a regular season MVP, though that was in the 2001 season. He is a Hall of Fame player who constantly carried subpar Sixers teams beyond their potential, and he did it with his own style. Number 8, Jason Kidd. In the 2000s, Jason Kidd was basically a triple-double machine. In fact, he's third all-time in total triple-doubles with 107, putting him just below Oscar Robertson and Magic Johnson. Kidd was the type of player that could take over a game without even scoring, which was a good thing because he wasn't much of a shooter until later in his career. He consistently averaged 6 to 7 rebounds per game and 9 to 10 assists per game, along with multiple steals. He excelled in just about every facet of the game and won an NBA championship just outside of the 2000s in 2011 with the Dallas Mavericks. Number 7, Steve Nash. Midway through the 2000s, Nash went from the Dallas Mavericks to the Phoenix Suns and transformed from a young all-star point guard to an MVP, a 2-time MVP in fact. The Suns' high-octane offense was governed by the mastermind Nash, and he ran it to perfection. He made the All-Star Game 7 times from 2000 to 2010 and made the All-NBA First Team 3 times during that period. He never won a championship, but it doesn't matter. He's still one of the greatest point guards of all time. Number 6, Kevin Garnett. After 21 seasons, Garnett has hung up his shoes, but not before leaving his mark on the game and giving us this glorious highlight. He spent most of the 2000s in Minnesota, where he averaged about 22 points, 13 rebounds, and 1.5 blocks per game. He also won regular season MVP in 2004. However, it wasn't until 2008, when Garnett joined Paul Pierce and Ray Allen in Boston, that he finally got his ring, winning Defensive Player of the Year that same season. Basically, Garnett did it all, and from 2000 to 2010, there were very few players who were better than him. Number 5, Dirk Nowitzki. Here's a fun fact. From 2000 to 2010, Dirk has the highest win shares per 48 minutes of any player on this list. That's higher than Duncan, Garnett, Kobe, Shaq, and LeBron. In total win shares per season, he's second only to LeBron. If you're wondering why win shares is such an important stat, then check out the video we made on that topic. As far as Dirk's career goes, he's a 13-time All-Star, an MVP, and Finals MVP. He made the All-NBA First Team 4 times during the 2000s, was top 10 in points nearly every year of that decade, on his way to currently being 6th all-time in points scored, and top 10 in rebounds 3 times during those years. Number 4, LeBron James. If this was a list of the greatest players from 2000 to now, LeBron would probably be higher than 4th. However, up to 2010, LeBron had yet to win a ring and was even considered a soft player that choked in big moments. He has since come through in the playoffs, but he hadn't yet done that in this decade. However, he had made the All-Star Game 6 times, made the All-NBA First Team 4 times, made the All-Defensive First Team 2 times, and won 2 MVP awards. Number 3, Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq suffers from the same problem LeBron does. His dominance is spread across 2 decades. For the first half of the 2000s, Shaq was a 4-time champion and a 3-time Finals MVP. For the second half of the 2000s, Shaq was an older veteran that teams like the Suns, Cavs, and Celtics hoped would grab enough rebounds to bring them a ring. He's at third here, but that doesn't take anything away from his career as a whole. The Kobe-Shaq connection in LA was unstoppable for several years, and O'Neal is one of the greatest centers of all time. Number 2. Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant is one of the greatest players of our modern era from 2000 to now, but he was at the top of his game in the 2000s. It was during this decade that he won his 5 NBA titles, along with 2 Finals MVP awards and a regular season MVP award. He made the All-Star game every year of the decade, the All-NBA First Team 8 times, and the All-Defensive First Team 7 times. It was also during this decade, in 2006, that he scored 82 points in one game, if we needed any further proof of how great he was. Number 1. Tim Duncan. Duncan came into the league averaging 21 and 12 and never looked back. He wasn't flashy like Shaq, expressive like Garnett, or uncommon like Dirk. He was just good. You knew when he got the ball in the post exactly what he was going to do, but it didn't matter. You couldn't stop him. From 2000 to 2010, Duncan won 2 regular season MVP awards, 3 NBA championships, and 2 Finals MVP awards. He made the All-NBA First Team and the All-Defensive First Team 6 times each. So what do you think of our list? Did we leave someone out? Let us know in the comments. Make sure you follow us on social media to get updates as soon as we post a new video, and follow me on Twitter at MTV_Sydney.